TYT Sports, Ben and Michael with you. At TCM, we cover, there are a lot of movies where there are some terrible show parents.
Right.
Coogan's Law, of course, crafted out here in California just to protect kids whose parents ripped them off. But that's when they're a child.
Name for Jackie Coogan?
Name for Jackie Coogan. You had to put the money in trusts, and the kid gets at least a significant percentage of it when they turn 18. Apparently, maybe needed in the National Hockey League. This is a terrible story about Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson, player for the Columbus Blue Jackets, played for the LA Kings. Actually, a really great hockey player. Played high school hockey with Sidney Crosby, and he had this week to declare bankruptcy. And he's a guy who's made about $18 million in his career thus far, but he had his parents leading his finances. In 2008, he left his agent, Pat Brisson, with the Creative Artists Agency. Pat Brisson has a lot of huge name hockey players, really the sort of cream of the crop among them. Sidney Crosby again, Patrick Kane. And since then, his parents were managing his finances and borrowing against his finances at high rates, 12% loans.
A 12% loan on the house, and I think a 30% loan on a $3 million loan.
Right, and they took a loan from
24% on the $3 million loan, 12% on the house in Manhattan Beach.
And there was a 12%, another 12% loan given by Rodney Blum. And if you follow anything as closely as I follow hockey, I follow politics even closer. Rodney Blum is a congressman from Iowa. So
he lent him money?
Yeah, he had. There was a. That was the business he was in before going to Congress, and that was part of it. Lent money
at exorbitant interest rates.
12% as well.
Right. He's probably a Republican, Rodney Blum.
I didn't even check his party.
I'm just going to guess.
No, and so this is illustrative. Jack Johnson, to his credit, has come forward. He's broken ties, sadly, with his family. He has a 16-year-old brother who still lives with his parents, but he has come forward and said, "I messed up. I'm going to fix this. I've hired financial advisors. I have a lawyer in Columbus who's going to look after this." All of his checks are garnished to the point last season where he would get a check and he would see no money. His paycheck would come in, he'd see no money. You can feel sorry for people who make a lot of money and lose it because it didn't happen by their own will. And he's,
you can feel bad if they had it by their own will. If somehow they've screwed things up.
Right, you can feel badly for that. It's just you cannot just sit and excoriate the rich.
He listed in the court documents when he filed the petition, he had $6,339 in his checking account, $2,202.62 in his savings account. This is a guy who has 3 years left on a 7-year, $30.5 million contract. Right. As you said, he's made already something like $18 million, and he's got none of it. And what is also interesting and reflects certainly well on him is that he's suing his parents.
Yeah.
Although good luck getting some of that.
He's not going to file any criminal charges.
Not going to file criminal charges because he's worried about his 16-year-old brother who's still in that house.
And so I think what this, brings up for so many people is how poorly structured finances are. You talk about Coogan's Law. Jack Johnson was 20 years old probably when he was getting millions of dollars. And he comes into the National Hockey League having no idea what to do with $20 million. You wouldn't know what to do with $20 million. Never mind. I picked the wrong guy to talk to about that. But
I'm just saying I might, at the end of it, have $40 million.
That's true. Yeah. But if it came up red, you might not. Yeah.
That's the way it goes, yeah.
But this is a really important part of sports, and when you watch sports and you see these guys, they get accolades for a finite period of time. The money goes away, but you assume that while they're making the money stays intact. So I applaud Johnson. I feel terribly for him because he was victimized by his own family, but it's not the first time this has happened.
Billy Corben directed a 30 for 30 called Broke. And it's as good a sports documentary as there is about this exact thing. Yeah. Athletes who've lost money. Bernie Kosar famously sort of somehow managed to burn through all of his riches. But check out Billy Corgan's 30 for 30 film Broke, and Jack Johnson would be a perfect addition to that story.
Yeah, and Jack Johnson's still playing. He's a really, really good hockey player. This is not just some slouch in the league. He's making a lot of money because he's really good. So
the good news is that because he's a good player and he's got 3 years left on his, so first of all, if it's he's getting about $4.5 million a year right now, so he's got $12 million, 13 coming back on this contract theoretically in the last 3 years, and he's young. So when this is up, there's probably another
There's
fairly big
certainly
contract.
another, and he plays a position where he could.
So if he's
probably-
responsible, he can get out of this and have a lot of money.
Yeah.